Chrissy Teigen. Stuff that pie face. Hello, I'm H.G. Tudor. Fresh from her broadcast appearance, hanging out with another bully, this one's wife, another narcissist, this one's wife, albeit of a different school, Chrissy Teigen, the lady who gets 3 versions of her surname because she doesn't know how to pronounce it herself and also can't remember the birth dates of her children, has appeared on television demonstrating yet more aspects of her narcissism. Yes, this narcissist that doesn't operate with a facade, but lets it all essentially hang out there, which enables commentators such as your glorious narrator here to highlight her narcissism in full effect. Lillian Gisson, writing for the Daily Mail, explains, Chrissy Teigen's bizarre food admission has sparked fierce outrage online. What is this? Is it the case that she has admitted to grilling toddlers? After all, we know that she has made some very strange comments about children in the past. See parts passim. Is it the case that she likes the supine John Legend, ordinarily to be found sat in a separate room, to smear her with cream cheese before inviting an entourage of individuals to come and lick it from her whilst all chatting ooga shaga, ooh ah ee? Well, in actual fact, she has opened up about her rather odd eating habit during a recent appearance on Dinner Time Live. The moon-faced bully explained on the show that she wakes up at 1 a.m. every night hungry. Is she hungry for loving? Oh no. Is she hungry for information? Absolutely not. She's hungry, in the most traditional of senses, for food. She either orders food to get delivered, or, get this, forces her husband, John Legend, to get up and make something for her. Aha. Yes, I take my nighttime medications at 10 p.m, and then I wake up again at 1 a.m. I place my order. It gets to me by 2. I eat it by 2:15, and then I go back to bed, she shared. This happens every night without fail. I'm not kidding. I would suggest perhaps you need to eat a little bit more for your evening meal so that you don't wake up hungry. Or you exercise some discipline and recognize, actually, I might just be thirsty and glug some water instead, which will probably stop it. But no, old Pieface needs to get up and have a scoff. Now, she's not a fatty, as can be seen, but nevertheless, one might question such habits as to being good for you, going back to sleep with your stomach gurgling as it seeks to process all and digest all of that food that you've just chowed down. Naturally, of course, Chrissy Teigen thinks we need to know about this bizarre eating habit of hers. Well, it does at least provide an opportunity for your glorious narrator to demonstrate what an odd-bod narcissist she is. But she goes further. The mum of 4 then revealed that she also sometimes wakes up her husband, John Legend, age 46, to make her a ham and cheese sandwich. He'll fully go downstairs at the time. He doesn't care. I can assure you, he probably does care, but he knows better than to argue with you about it because you'll probably start giving him a real hard time, or you'll start broadcasting some impenetrable program as a consequence of the receipt of signals via your satellite-dished face. He'll fully go downstairs at the time. He doesn't care. I can nudge him and be like, babe, I want a sandwich. And he'll be like, okay. He's so robotic, you know, John. He's like, all right, sandwich time. Then he comes back and goes immediately back to bed. Now, first of all, you lazy harridan, if you're that hungry, get out of bed yourself and make your own fucking sandwich. But of course, she won't do because she's so important. And what she wants is for her husband, who's a complete beta cuck to get out of bed. So she shows a sense of entitlement in wanting food at that time, a lack of accountability for her own behaviours because she doesn't go and make it herself, an absence of emotional empathy for her husband, who not only does she interrupt his sleep by waking him up, but then forces him to get out of bed. She'll say, oh, he doesn't have to do it if he doesn't want to. But we all know, Chrissy Teigen, that you're a narcissist, which means that if the bleary-eyed Mr. Legend turned around and went, what you want, fell off and try to sleep, having a dream about someone whose face was normal. If he mumbled that through his bleary-eyed slumber, she would continue to niggle him because, of course, that's a threat for control. She would dig an elbow, start putting her feet on his thigh, perhaps they've been out of bed and they're cold, nudging him. Please, please, she'd start whinging until you think, for fuck's sake, and get out of bed. It's undoubtedly the case that Mr. Legend has been conditioned to respond this way because he just thinks to himself, if I tell her to shut up or if I pretend to be asleep, she'll just keep going and going and going until I do get out of bed, so I might as well just get out of bed now and be done with it. And that's what happens. But it demonstrates the sense of entitlement of this woman to treat her husband that way, and it also shows the conditioning that Mr. Legend has been subjected to, that he goes along with it. This clip of her discussing her nighttime habit was shared to TikTok by the Food series, where it went viral. But some viewers were unamused. Once again, this woman, Chrissy Teigen, doesn't see an issue in sharing this. She probably thinks it's funny, and it demonstrates her inability to gauge the situation, whereby if you were waking your husband up to attend to your needs in relation to food, and that you had this bizarre quirk, you'd probably be better to keep it to yourself. But not Chrissy Teigen. She thinks it's funny, and it's to be shared. Nevertheless, guess what happened? People wrote as follows: she is awful. Another wrote, insufferable. Next, why did she tell this story with pride? Well, it's because she's a narcissist. I can't with her, read a fourth comment. A fifth said, how mean to wake your husband up just to get you food. I would have to really, really need something to wake my husband up. That's rude. She woke him up every night for a sandwich and yet called him a robot. That's not nice, a different person chimed in. Well, it's no surprise. Chrissy Teigen is a narcissist. She believes the world revolves around her and that all her needs ought to be attended to, which includes that of her intimate partner primary source, John Legend. Therefore, she has no problem at all with waking him up and issuing an order for him to go and make a sandwich. He's become conditioned to these demands, so he takes the path of least resistance, and she also lacks the awareness that this is rather unpleasant behaviour to engage in. Sleep deprivation is a serious matter, and, as a consequence, feels that it's appropriate to broadcast this as some kind of humorous anecdote. What an absolute moon-faced, satellite-dished twonk this woman is. However, once again, you understand why she does it. It's her narcissism. I'm H.G. Tudor. Thank you for listening.